Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this particular session of this video, we are going to look at what is actually called index-based selection. What is actually this index-based selection that we are going to look at? Index-based selection is a way we can try to get a particular role of our data. To this point of our video, we're able to learn how to make use of that of the head and that of the tail. With this, we can actually get when we select the head, we're able to get the first 5. When we select the tail, we're able to get the last 5 rows. So in this way, this is not really efficient. Let's say we have a data set comprised of, let's say, 1000 data rows that we have here, and this of our data set is up to 5000. I want to select a row of maybe at a particular row of 4000. So how can you do this? You can basically do it with the help of this, with the help of that of this. So how can we achieve it? We are going to make use of what is actually called a kind of index. Like I said, it's an index-based selection. There are mainly a whole lot of them, but we're going to mainly focus on the 3 categories, which are the iloc, the log, and that of the IAT. When we look at that of the iloc, what does that I beginning stand for? It stands for index base, and that of the IAT, which that I stand for index. So when you see I in front of it at the beginning, you already know that is signified as an index. And when we say index, what we are looking at is we are going to specify the index. And when we specify the index, we are going to specify the row and that of the column. So I want us to have something in mind, which is this of the RC. So we have this in mind because when we are trying to set up our index, we are going to set this R stand for row and this C stand for our column. So let me just say R is what row, and that of the, let me just put some here, and that of the C here is what column. So we should make sure to have this in mind, rows come first and that of the column. So out of this of our data frame that we'll have here, I'm going to always focus on that of the first I can say the first 5 rows. I can set our data frame, the head. I'm going to set it to scale. Let's get 7, and then we're going to do what? Let me print out the data frame that we'll have. Let's actually see it on the screen. You can see this is what we have. We have the invoice ID, the brand. This is, we just got the first 5 rows. Let's say in a situation whereby I'm interested in, maybe I want to actually get only this of the first row that is here. Maybe I want to get the second, third, or fifth. So anyone I want. So how can I do this? So I'm going to make use of the first step. I'm going to make use of what is called that of the iloc. I just basically simple. I'm going to specify the row and that of the column. So let's say I want to, okay, let me just print out. So I'm going to say our df.iloc. So remember this I can say a mini formula that I specified there, which is row comes first. So which row do I want to get and which particular column do I want to get? Let's say I want to get from maybe somewhere around row. Okay, let me short this guy down so that we can actually know what we are doing. Here I'm going to, this is exactly the same thing that we did here, was just so to get only the 7 rows. We can actually do this with that of the iloc. So how many rows do I want? I want to get from that of the 0 to that of the 7. So which you know that is +1, that of the way index is being arranged, because if we were to set 7, we are not going to get 7, we are going to stop in 6. So I'm going to set it. And then what column do I want to do? So once you give it a column, once you give it a comma, it's specified that you are going to that of the column. Here signified that I want to get from row 0 and to that of row 8, but row 8 is not going to be printed, it's going to stop in row 8. So remember this 2 dots here that I specified here, just trying to look at, we are going to index. If you have watched my video on indexing, this shouldn't be a hard thing for you to understand. So what column do I want to get? Let's say I'm interested in getting every columns. I can specify here. Once I specify these 2 columns these 2 dots that is here, it means I want all columns. So but let's say in a situation I'm interested only in this invoice ID, branch, and city column. We know that this is column 0, column 1, and column 2. So we are going to do similar. We are going to set 0 here. Remember, I want to stop in 2. You know it's going to be +1, so we are going to set 3 here. So let's actually see that. Okay, like as we can see here, the invoice, the branch, and the city. You can see how simple this was, and we were able to get that of the row that we're interested in, which is total of 8 rows, that like how we specified here. Like I said, that there's 8 is not going to be gotten as going to stop in that of the 7. This is one of the use case of the iloc. There's still a whole lot use case of this of the iloc. You can start to get only the that of the row. We can neglect the colon, or can anyhow you want to play around with it. So next we are going to look at is that of the that of the lock, because these two guys are mainly one of the most popular one. This is supposed to be lock. These two guys are one of the most popular ones. So let me shut this guy down. How this lock of a guy works is a kind of a label in this way. Like when I mean label, you have to specify the label of the index. So what I mean is this our index that was here, we're going to specify, instead of specifying the colon and the row that we actually want to get as the output. So I'm going to make use of this. Let's do example of this log. It's going to be a little initially. Let me just copy. Remember that it's a label based type. So we're not going to set all this. So we're going to, let me remove this to lock. What I just did was just to copy this guy, so I don't need to actually set. So I'm interested in getting this of the row 0. So I'll just come here. I'm going to specify row 0. I'm going to do this of the 2 types, so we'll actually get to understand it fully. So let's actually run this and see what we actually have on the screen. Okay, as we can see here, this is actually the first row, which is actually this INV, which is 1000. Like if we go up a little bit, you can see this is what we actually have. What the Port Harcourt city, and a whole lot of them. What the state person SP hyphen 109, that was we can 107. Sorry, as we can see here. Also, we can actually try to get multiple labels that are the way we want. Let's actually say we want to get this of the say row 1 and that of the row 2. So how we can do it is actually come here and specify the second labels we want. So this is index 1 and that of the index 2. How we can do it, just put another we can say square braces in front of it. Let's actually run it and see what we have. Okay, as we can see, we have the 1000 and 1001. As of now, we might not see the difference between this of the iloc and this of the lock. Like I said, that this guy is of that of the label type. So let me just set our index to be of this invoice. So let me try to set it somewhere here, so we can actually see the magic between or can see the difference between this of the lock and that of the iloc. So I'm going to set our data frame. I'm going to do was set index. So I've not watched my video on that of the how to set index. It's basically simple to set. So what do we want to use as of our index? I'm going to make use of this invoice ID. So I'm going to come here and just paste this of our invoice ID. So I'm going to say what in place. I'm going to set it to what true. Just simple as this. So if I run this, I'm definitely going to get an error, because like I said, this is going to be a label, and then there's no longer label name or index named 01. So let's actually run this and see what we have. So I will explain as we go on more. Okay, like I said, we are going to get an error. What type of error do we get here? Erase a key error, which is none of the key are in the Ezee name, because we actually set our index. Remember that this lock is as kind of a label. But before that, let's actually before we fix the error, let's actually get this of the data frame, or I can say let me set this to 7, so we can actually focus on that of the 7. Let me not print out everything out. Okay, as you can see here, this is only the first 7 rows that we have. When we look at this of our, we're no longer seeing 0, 1, 2, 3, and we're not getting this of the kind of there, because we set this invoice to be set as in there. So if we want to actually get a particular row here, we can actually instead of setting this the lock 01 here, we're going to, let's say we're interested in this row, so we're going to set it here. So we're going to put it here. If we also want to get this row here, I can say this particular index, we are going, instead of setting one, we are going to set the index name. It does just basically it. So let's actually run this and actually see what we are going to. Let me shut that of the head out. Okay, it's already down. So let's actually run this. This is what we get, and as we get this of the index that we actually specify. You can see that the way this iloc, sorry, this lock works is a little bit different compared to this of how the iloc works. Like I said, this I in front specify index, so I can just come here and say what our index, and here we are going to specify what, let's say I specify something like label, so we know that we are going to make use of the label. When I mean make use of the label, we can say the name or the what we wish to represent that of the index or the row. So the next we are going to make use of that of the IAT. When you look at that of the IAT, that shouldn't be hard for you to understand. The IAT also is that, since that I is in front of it, signify that of the index based type of selection. So let me just say IAT, also that of the index. But the way this IAT seems similar to this of the iloc, but the way IAT works is actually target a particular element. It doesn't just work like how this of the iloc was. Can maybe look for a particular amount of row of your choice to get it out. But the way this IAT works, target a particular element. So let's say in a situation whereby I'm interested in this of the, okay, let me go up, let me see how we have this of data frame here. So let's say in a situation whereby I'm interested in this of the, maybe something like this 50, I can say 501.766. Well, to how this iloc works, you are going to specify the row that you want. I know that this is actually row 2, and then the next one we are going to specify is where the particular column that you are interested in. Okay, without that, let's actually know that this is actually final amount paid. Okay, let me actually, okay, rather than that, let me actually our data frame, let me actually get this of the, let's say, let me focus on this more of the invoice ID, because this guy tends to be a little bit too long on that particular position. Let's say I'm interested in getting this IMV 1003 or 1003. So how we can do this, let me try to print it out. So it's going to be our data frame dot what, IET. Just simple as that. I'm going to specify the row, which row is this guy on, which is actually this is 0 1 2 3. This is actually in 3. So I'm going to set the comma, and what column is this column 0. So remember that formula RC. So let's run it and see whether we are going to get out of the IMV -1003, as we can see here. You can see we're able to target a particular element, a particular value of our choice by making use of this IAT. So what happened when I try to specify something like 9, like how we did on that of the iloc? Let's actually see what we are going to get. As you can see, we get value error. IAT based indexing can only have integer index. I can see we can only focus on a particular element. So we can see the whole lot of other one, but these 3 guys are the main guys that mainly be used, and these 3 guys are enough for any of your data analysis scenario. Remember that this iloc of a guy, you see like the big guy, and then this label guy is hardly being used, but unless if you are interested in a particular label. But one of the fastest is this of the IAT, because the IAT tend to only focus on a particular or get a particular data of your choice by just specifying the row and that of the column. I remember the formula is this of the row RC, so don't get it confused. Like I can come here and say that of the RC, so we won't get confused, because if you mistake column where column is supposed to be and pull that of the row, you'll be having a whole lot of issues. So there's still a lot of things to cover in this of the can say index based or the label based collection. There's still a lot of them, like that of the AT, a whole lot of them, but these 3 guys should be more than enough. So I think we have come to the end of this video. If you find this video helpful, I don't think subscribing is going to be anywhere a problem. So I'll be happy to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.